Hail, hail, and welcome to Celtic World North America. We are part of the Celtic World YouTube channel. On our show, we discuss all things Celtic from the North American perspective. So, from Charleston to Chicago or Kansas City to the Cone of Silence, we're all part of a Celtic world. So, we had a top of the table clash on Sunday with a new manager at the helm at home versus Hearts. So I know probably everybody was excited, like I was going into it, but it did not go as planned. A bit of a surprise with changing the formation after just 2-3 days of training with the new manager. But in the end, it was just a lot of the same shit we've seen all season from this side. But let's jump into it because, as always, we have tons to talk about. So I'm just going to start with introductions. Say hello to my partner, Chris. Chris, how are we doing tonight?
We're doing well. We're doing well.
Good to see you.
Likewise.
And then we have a returning guest, Connor, from Charleston and the Holy City CSC.
Always happy to be here, gentlemen. Thank you so much for having me.
Love your shirt. I think I need to buy that. And then Peter, you got to unmute your mic first thing. But then we have Peter making his first appearance on the show. And Peter started up the Nashville Celtic Supporters Club this year. So welcome, Peter. And we'll talk about, how that all started up later on in the show. But welcome to the show.
Glad to be here. Thanks.
Cool. All right. So, like I said, when we started, we, hired Wilfred Nancy last week. It's been in the works for seemingly forever, as we've had multiple people on here the last few weeks. Our little Wilfred Nancy experts from Columbus, and then we have Paul from Chicago, who's a MLS guy. So I feel like we've kind of been talking him up for a little bit, and all that talk has kind of boosted my expectations of him. Very excited, and I'm not, and we'll get into it, I'm sure. I feel like, some people weren't happy, thinking he was not up for the job, doesn't have a, good enough resume to come in to Celtic. But I guess, Connor, we haven't had you on. What was your thoughts on the hire, first of all?
So I knew nothing about the new gaffer, admittedly. I am not an MLS guy, so I didn't really know his background. I had to Google him and ask a few friends what they knew about him. I correctly predicted on this podcast the last time I was on that Rodgers would walk or be walked out.
That's true, you did.
And I had not so secretly hoped that Ange would come back as our savior. And that didn't work out. But, the more I looked into Nance, the more I was excited about his prospective tenure. And, I was pretty excited up until 20 minutes into the match on Sunday. But again, it's we've got a long way to go here, and I'm excited to see what he'll do. And again, we'll talk about the match itself, but I thought he brought some energy, and I appreciated some of the moves he made with the lineup ahead of time. So I'm excited to see what will come.
Agreed. Peter, how about you? I know we haven't had you on, so did you have any opinion on him, on the hire, actually?
So Nashville has the MLS team, so I'd heard the name through the grapevine because obviously Nashville plays Columbus. But what I found interesting is MLS coach crossing the pond. It's like a company hiring from outside versus inside. So it was going to be interesting to see what type of impact he had initially. I bought stock in Connect Forward. Let me tell you, I've already made $2,000. So, I'm all about it. I think, and I referenced this to some the guys at Lone Star of the Weekend. This is like an American college football coach, Nick Saban, right? Numerous national championships. He leaves, a new coach comes in. Every time you hate to be that coach or that manager because you know what's going to happen. You lose one game and they're ready to crucify you. So hopefully they definitely brought the energy the first half. So it's going to be interesting to see.
Yeah, and we've talked about in the previous weeks that coming to Celtic, you are expected to win every game, and it was a tough spot to come in at, and you saw people saying, "Oh, maybe we should have kept Martin on for another week till the Cup final," and I think all that stuff, like once you have your new manager identified and especially in the door, I think you just got to get them out there and rolling. Because if we hired him last week and then like say, all right, we're going to keep Martin on for a week, like that undermines the new manager. It like, I don't know how you come into an atmosphere like that where you get kind of pushed to the side as a new manager and you're expected to hold the dressing room and win the respect of your players immediately. So I was willing to take a few lumps, and I think I could take a lump tomorrow against Roma. No, can't take a lump against St. Mirren though. That's a must win. So I guess, I mean, we could just kind of go into the match, and I guess first things first, and I'll throw up the lineup. And I know I was down at the Plow and Stars in Philly for this one. I'm becoming a regular there again, which is cool. Even though I'm like an hour outside the city, it's always tough for me to get there, but I'm making it a point to actually get out and go to the supporters club. But I'm going to throw up the lineup, and I'm going to go to Chris first because just to see what your reaction was when you saw the lineup.
I mean, is it what I would have expected? Possibly. I don't know. I mean, it didn't fill me with overconfidence or underconfidence. I don't think it. I mean, it just was like, okay, well, that's his starting 11, and I kind of went with it. I didn't know where they would all line up. I think that's probably my biggest hurdle. Like when I did see the lineup come out, and I'm like, okay, it's a super tough call because I don't know what the intentions were, right? If this was Brendan Rodgers, I would go, what are you doing? What is this, right? But it is what it is, and I just kind of rolled with it and said, all right. I mean, this is it's the starting 11, so
yeah, I know, and like
you just kind of throw your hands up and go,
yeah,
it is what it is. There's nothing I can do about it.
Yep. And then the way they released it, they went back to that like number order.
Why?
Trying to place everybody in their position, and it just makes it. And did they do that on purpose because of the formation change? Probably.
Well,
knowing the club,
I also don't think that I was expecting minimal changes. Right.
Yeah.
From Wednesday from Martin O'Neill, and when minimal changes became major changes, initially I was just like, "What the fuck are we doing? Like, why is everybody out of position? Everybody was out of position at one point in this match. Multiple people were out of position multiple times, and it was genuinely a shock that you would change the formation in 2 days in training.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, we talked about that last week, I think all four of us thought it would be, and if you go on to people on social media, it was going to be your thought was it would be a gradual build, and like he's going to take kind of what's been working recently and then make minor tweaks to it, and then maybe within a few weeks to a month, then you're starting to see that kind of system that he wants to run. But I mean, he just dove right in, which I don't know. He's confident. He has confidence in his system, and I mean, to go to the match, I kind of like the way it looked for the first half. Like, it did have a different feel to it, in terms of, like you said, that the positioning and the movement. But again, it goes back to that, like we had a ton of the ball, but just didn't do shit with it. So I guess, Peter, I'll go to you. What was your thoughts when you saw, I guess, the lineup, and then I guess kind of how the game started off with that lineup in place?
So
one more time.
the lineup was interesting. The formation was definitely more interesting, but they, for 2 days of practice with Nancy, I thought they adapted well. Obviously, I mean, the drive was there in that first half. It was like they'd been playing that way for years. We won't talk about the second half because we all know it just fell apart. We don't know what happened, right? It just fell apart. But it seemed like they were clicking, and there was a click that we hadn't seen in a while, and it was very interesting to see how fast they were able to adapt to the change.
Yeah, agreed. How about you, Connor? What was your thoughts when, I guess, kind of the vibes? And were you in the CSC?
We were, yeah. And I thought chaos. The vibe was chaos. That's what I thought. Going in between the social post itself, which just threw me off, where my eyes immediately went to the bottom, and I'm like, Tierney's a striker today. What the hell's happening? But I think one of our members texted me. I just pulled it up and said, "This is 30 seconds after the starting 11 is posted. This madman is going to 3 at the back already with Yang and Tenecti at wing back. I kind of love it. All out attack." And everybody just responded with like, yeah, this is chaos. But to Peter's point, I thought they came out strong. They came out energized. I was excited. I felt really good. I thought Tenecti was the only weak point of the first half. I thought he was a weak point the whole game. I don't know if it was what was going on with him, but he had, like, to me, easily his worst match in the hoops thus far. But other than Tenecti, I thought it was a very strong first half until we got to the half itself.
Yeah, I mean, agreed. And then, I mean, like I said, it did have a different vibe to it, that first half, and the movements. And, but again, we're not creating any chances. Dyson had a couple chances, like right back to back, pretty early, like 10 or so minutes in. The first one would have been a tough one, and I think he kind of rushed it on his left foot. Probably could have taken another touch, but again, that's like Dyson. I don't think that's his strong suit, especially I mean, he had a good stretch last year where he was putting away those chances. The second one, I think he definitely should have put away, and in that one, he probably took an extra touch. And that kind of, I think, threw him off. So beyond that, there was nothing much else created that whole first half, chances wise, and we were, I mean, barely even getting it into that final third.
Yeah.
And then I guess the goal that Hart scored was, and that shit, I mean, I say this all the time, and especially I was a soccer referee, football referee. The players, when they put their hand up on offside, drives me fucking crazy. And it killed us there. And like, because everybody stopped around the ball. McGregor, I even think Schmeichel kind of stopped. And I mean, I will say I just didn't notice Engels diving in outside, like way out there on the wing, and just took himself into a position where he couldn't get back to play everybody offside. So like when it happened, I was like, oh, that's offside. And then you see the replay, and it really wasn't even close.
You were all yelling offside, and then Engel. Then we see the replay, and Engels is just hanging out there.
So I put my arm up in the bar, but I'm like, players can't do that. I guess, Chris, how about you? What was the reaction for you
Well,
and
so
Doc for the goal?
and it was disheartening. It was one of those goals that you go, ouch, like that shouldn't have happened. But I think my bigger issue is that and I heard this somewhere else. So, but if Ingles had stayed out of bounds, it would have been offside. And I heard that as kind of a defense for what happened, sort of. But it still didn't make any sense to me because you play to the whistle. If you don't stop, they don't score that goal. But they all stopped.
Oh,
And
100%.
so I mean, like it was complete confusion. But I just, and it's just such a cheap goal to give away, man. That like with as much pace and energy as that first 15 minutes, because I was like, wow, this is great. We're attack, but there seemed to be no defensive mindedness about it. I mean, it like what Connor said, it was just chaos. And when we give away that cheap goal, that was just the product of chaos.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, because I mean I feel like pretty well in control that first half, and just to give that up right at the end of the first half was just a killer leading into the second half. So Peter, were you in Lone Star CSC for that one, or were you in Nashville?
I was in Dallas for that one.
Okay, so I guess what was the reaction there to the goal, and did you have the same as Connor with everybody putting their arm off, like, oh yeah, that's offside? And I mean, that was my reaction. I don't know as much as everybody else in the bar, but definitely my reaction. Oh, that's offside.
Well, the biggest response after that was, right, you play to the whistle blows.
Mm.
I mean, the Schmeichel just standing there. It's like you did what? You didn't even move. Yeah, play to, and I tell you what, I guarantee you that won't happen again.
Yeah.
They'll play from now on. They're going to go until the whistle goes.
Yeah, you would hope.
But yeah, everybody was like, at first it's all sides, but then it was just, why did you stop playing?
I think the biggest culprit on that play was McGregor. He was kind of a few feet away from the ball, and I think he put his arm up once, and then made a slight move to the ball, and then I maybe realized he wasn't going to get there, and put his arm up again. So think, oh, I'm fucked. So like, hopefully this is offside. Like. So it was just a brutal finish to the half. When
Trusty was right there too, and he should have made a play on the ball.
Yep.
Well,
so frustrating way.
Goal, did it not?
Yep. And then Casper doesn't even move, and we've seen that in a couple times recently, where I think even on the recent penalty, like where he like didn't even move. But he's been better recently. But I know that's me and Chris all season. And
when is Sinisalo going to start?
I'll put Jason's comment up.
I mean, like I get it. Casper's a good keeper, and we've been lucky to have him. I mean, he's made some tremendous saves, XYZ, but man, like I really want to see some Sinisalo, because everything I've seen from him has been super solid. He should be the future, and if we're looking towards the future, we need to be looking towards the future.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed. So I guess second half starts. I can't remember when that Hart scored the second goal off of the
header,
the corner.
Yeah.
Time wise, but the second half did not have that same feel as the first half, where you felt in control. Hart started to settle into the game a little more. I feel like in the first half, they kind of sat back off of us a little bit, maybe trying to hit us on a counter or something like that. Whereas when we played them at Tynecastle, they were a more pressing more, and I think they did that a little more in the second half. We didn't create much. I mean, you can hardly think of any chances outside of right at the end when Hatate put one off the crossbar, and then Tierney gets the goal. Peter, what was the vibe, I guess, in the second half? How'd you see, I guess, one, the performance of the team, and then two, I guess, any changes that Nancy made in the second half to try and get things rolling?
Yeah, the drive was gone, obviously, in the second half. We saw the ball a lot more on the other end than we did before. 1 minute I thought there was going to be a change. Then they swapped. Then they went back and made a change on players. But when we finally got that goal there for a minute, it was like, let's go. Everybody in the pub was like, let's go. Right? We got some time. Let's do it. But it seems like there wasn't a drive. You had 2 minutes left, and there just wasn't a drive. Let's go try to score 1 in 2 minutes. It just
at that point, I mean, that just felt like a kind of a just a goal that's going to flatter us a little bit, and we weren't really going to do anything. I didn't feel like we were going to get anything those last 2 minutes, but so just frustrating day all around. I mean, for me, the best part of the day was the Irish breakfast at the Plow, which was fucking phenomenal. And a couple drinking hazy IPAs at 10 a.m. is always fun. So I don't know, any I guess, Connor, how did the crowd at the in Charleston handle the result?
So first, I missed the curry at the Plow. The shrimp and chicken curry is fantastic. But it was deflating. Honestly, we had one of our better showings of the year. One of our members was moving back to Scotland this week, so we had a little send off for him on Sunday, and we had a decent crowd, and it was just deflating. It was really deflating. Even the last 5-6 minutes, it just we all knew in our heart of hearts it was not going to be enough, and I don't think the squad itself knew it wasn't going to be enough. To Peter's point, there wasn't a whole lot of drive there. There wasn't a whole lot of push. There wasn't a whole lot of forward momentum to just try to set up something. So it was deflating, and I think that's I'm not going to get on the manager about that right away. Right, it's his first time out. You got big shoes to fill. I think he took a big swing, and I don't know if he missed on it, but it just didn't work out, and the cards didn't fall in our favor. And now he's got to win. He's got to win at least one of the next two, or it could get ugly real quick here.
And I'll put this up from MKS 7417.
I would agree.
I think Sunday is a must. Tomorrow, not as much. So if you're going to win 1 out of 2, it's got to be Sunday for me. Chris, what did you think of the tactics board that he's been taking so much shit about this week?
I mean, I understand the criticism. I understand, but that's the thing with coming to Celtic, is that you have to be perfect from the jump, right? Like, you can't. There's no time for warming up and getting tactics right, like you're starting the summer training or whatever, right? Like, you can't. There's a lot of people that looked at that and seriously doubted him as a manager, because that's not something that you see. And his response to it, I thought, was actually pretty good, which was like, you know what, I don't care what you think. I do this for me, and it was in that moment that I realized that, like, hey, what works for him works for him, right? Like, I don't know if that's something that he's always done. You know, who am I to criticize if that's how the man operates, right? So, you know, it's kind of like an artistic kind of perspective of it. It's like, that's how he crafts his, you know, whatever, then that's how he does it. And, you know, people just need to get off his back about it. But, you know, there was also fair criticism about it too, because it looks kind of unprofessional.
Yeah. It's not optically the best, but
but it's still,
right.
You know, it's his way of working out tactics in his head, and I get that. I understand that.
And maybe it's different. Like, it was like a fucking downpour the whole game. So maybe he like would normally do it on a tablet or on or a piece of paper, and he didn't feel like he could do that. But I know when I saw it, I was like, "Ooh, that looks."
Did the pieces have to be blue and red too? Why? Like, why?
That I think that was the worst part, right? like if you're gonna do it, they need to be like green and white.
Please.
Yeah, he had been known to do that before in Columbus. When I looked at it, I went, "Oh, geez, we're gonna have an iPad. You guys don't have software." It was the optics. Hey, really, everybody's doing it, but they're just doing it on a notepad and they're drawing it.
Yeah,
I can understand how he sees that and it's beneficial, but I was thinking, oh, geez, come on, we're in 2025. There's some technology you can use.
It was a
really, but I said, and then it's funny. I think everybody said the same thing when they saw that. Oh God, they're going to crucify him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I said that. I was like, I cringed a little, but like I said, I think we're probably doing too much of a deep dive into what, you know, that it's unprofessional. Then it's a weird situation to be thrown into to, you know, start your managerial career and playing a massive game 3 days later and changing up the formation and trying to get your guys to, you know, play it. And I think trying to make changes on the fly too to the formation that you started. So
which is a good sign, right? Like so he's thrown right into the deep end of the pool, clash for first place, even though we've got one in hand, but clash for first place. He's thrown right into the deep end of the pool. And what does he do? He doesn't stick with the status quo. He switches things up. And so I got to respect him for that. That's what excites me the most, maybe, is that he's willing to take chances and not willing to just go with the status quo. I think that's hopefully will play out in the long run.
Yeah. I always go back to remember when we had Mick from Kansas City on. I always, and it's true. He said Brendan's plan B was to do plan A better, and it's it's so true, and it's good. Maybe that's good to, you know, a guy who's willing to change up once to start the game and then change on the fly as needed, which we're just not used to. I mean, was such a rarity under Brendan Rodgers. So,
well, when Ange was here, right? So when Ange first came in, like, he lost the first several games, and his attack eventually started clicking, and it was working, and then everybody saw the fruits of you know, his system, and you know, everybody had the same kind of guns out for him, because there's like, what are you doing? Why are you changing it? And I think the difference is that when Ange did it, he had that time in training, right? So we had a full summer preseason. We had, you know, some UEFA games, and so I mean, I think it's time to you know, we need to give him time to put in the system, but at the same time, like, we're in the middle of the season, we're competing for first place against, you know, the other team that's there with us, and there's no room for error, really.
Yeah.
And I think that's the difference. And, you know, that you have to feel sorry for him, but like, to Connor's point, like, he's got some balls about him. I like that.
Yeah.
Like he is willing to do that. So I don't know, man. I do think Sunday's a must.
Yes. So I just put Strangelove's comment up there, and I feel the same exact way as him. Whereas, I mean, I guess I'm slightly critical, I guess, of the tactics boards, but at the same time, I'm defending it, and I feel that same way, and particularly against outsiders like the Eddie Huns, or now you're seeing Hearts fans are getting a little yappy, being where they're in the position they're in, just talking shit about the new manager, and like I'm ready to jump in swinging to defend them, even if I might be a little critical here and there. So I agree with that, what Strangelove said there.
100%.
And I love the wearing the green Adidas. So green Adidas shoes. He can't, and he's taking shit for that from people, which is ridiculous. And I'm just gonna throw up one more comment real quick because we got that MKS. We have a Roma fan in our comments. So, but he loves the Celtics. So I have a soft spot for Roma of any Italian team. I guess I could say I have a little bit of a soft spot. You know, I'm like everything for me is about the Celtics. So welcome, MKS. Any other thoughts on the match? Peter, do you want to throw out there? We can move on.
No, just looking forward to tomorrow. Give us I'm just curious, what's it going to look like tomorrow?
Yeah, we'll get to that.
The same formation. Yeah. What's the lineup going to be? Yeah.
Well, I guess towards the end we'll throw out our little Roma preview. But before we move on to the next topic, I'm going to play our subscribe clip because I forgot to do that last week. So bear with me 1 second.
Hello all the Celtic fans. Here in France we love the Celtic world. C'est fantastique. Subscribe. C'est un fait accompli.
So that takes us into our next thing.
What did it mean? Sorry.
Oh, I got a whole bunch of these. So, like I said at the start, we have Peter, first time on our program. So, what we always do with first-time guys on here is, I guess, start with, and we talked about with Connor the first time he was on here. How did you get into Celtic? And what are you from Nashville originally? I guess to start.
I'm from South Carolina. I actually used to
South
live where
Carolina.
Connor lived.
So how did you get into Celtic as a?
I think it was 3 years ago. My wife has family back in Ireland, and I found out there's TV beyond America, which is interesting, right? I love that streaming ability now. So, Premier League was on USA, and then I found the Scottish Premiership, and I went, oh wow, okay, didn't know this existed. That was around the same time, I guess. The Red Dragons, right, on Netflix, over in Wales. That was going on.
Show.
Yeah, Wrexham. So that kind of got the attention, and then with my heritage being Scottish, Susan's family being Irish, and then I find, oh wow, there's a Celtic team, right? That's in Scotland. That's obviously has a makeup of Irish and Scottish. So I kind of got hooked, and the biggest thing is the fans. We were talking about it in Dallas. It's really a family. It's amazing. It's just not everywhere you go, but everywhere you go, right? There's Celtic fans, and they're one family, and it's your best friend that you ever wanted, right? That's what the makeup is of the CSCs.
Yeah, no, agreed. And I mean that's kind of a theme of almost every show we've done so far, and that's how I met Chris probably 12 years ago, no, 11, 12 years ago in Philly. And it is Chris is my brother who I, never knew I had, but we're and that's everyone. Then I met Connor more recently, and we had been friends on social media, and that's how kind of things started. But like that first time you meet, and like Connor, the same thing. Like it's like I've known him my whole entire life, and I have that with so many people in the Celtics support over here and over in Scotland and Ireland, which it's like amazing. So that's interesting. I didn't know you're probably one of the more recent Celtic fans to the people that we've had on. Can we think of anybody else, Chris? Who's
No.
Yeah. So that's awesome. Like we are always. I try at home. I know to. I'm trying to cultivate Celtic fans from my friend group at home who are just learning about, one, the sport, and then two, maybe they have Irish background or whatever it is, to try and pull them in, because it is a family in a way, like that you for me, Connor, do you agree? Like I know we've talked about it in the past, like
100%. And I've hung out with Chris and Sean now, I think in multiple states at this point, multiple times. No, I love it. And one of my favorite things is visiting other CSCs. Peter, I can't wait to get to Nashville to visit y'all. I think, is there still a CSC in Knoxville? Are those boys still going?
There is.
My wife and I will be in Gatlinburg right after Christmas, so I hope to see the boys in Knoxville at some point. If not, make the trek out to see Chris and Peter. But I think one of the coolest things is the growth of the CSCs in the last 5 years in the U.S. at least.
In the South too.
Yeah, in the South, who would have thought? So it's very cool to see Miami going strong, us in Charleston new, Nashville new, Knoxville. It's very cool to see.
Yeah, it's awesome. I'm gonna throw up Strangelove comment, and this is very true. It's a people and a cause, and that's
Amen.
I could not agree more. And then hail to Bobby. He's our boy, so throw Bobby up there. Good to see him watching us. So I guess then, been a fan for 3 years of the club. What I guess decided to make you jump into trying to start a Celtic supporters club? I guess like Connor has done that recently with Charleston. So it's definitely a lot of work to make it work and make it big. And like if you have lofty aspirations, so what made you decide to like try and get that up and running?
So over the past 3 years, the first CSC I visited was Boston. Had a conversation with their founder and like, I want to do this. I'd like to have one in Nashville. He opened up support. That was a year ago. Since then, I've been to Chicago twice, and I'm telling you, so far, everywhere you go, it's just literally, it's a cause. It's a family. And on September 14th, I think it was, I was sitting out back at the house. The game had just ended. And, I was talking to myself, we need to get a club. Oh, what the heck? I'm going to do it. Literally. So I got the phone, started grabbing domain names, right? On the 3 main social media sites. What the heck? I'm gonna do this. And created a Facebook page real quick, threw it out, said, let's do it. It's been pretty good, with the continuing to network. Chris jumped in early and said, hey man, I'm here to help you. Actually, one of his friends in Knoxville, I think, told him about it. It's just networking. Yeah, we're working with the the Irish network here in Nashville. They're helping us get some networking, getting the word out, and try to bring people into the group. So we know there's a large following of Irish and Scottish supporters in Nashville. It's just getting them in touch with us and letting them know that we're here. Mm-hmm. So we know the opportunity to build this club is there. And we also, just like Miami gets a lot of people coming in off cruise boats. And so far since September, we've had a couple from Ireland here on holiday come to 2 matches. The Miami crews come in. We had a guy from Ireland that was here. It's been seeing his son in New York. Was down for 3 days. He made a match. So we know it's a destination stop for a lot of people on vacation. So it's great to have a place that they can come to watch the game.
Oh, 100%. I was in Nashville. I don't remember when that was, Chris. When I saw you, and
about a year ago.
Was it a year ago? God.
I know, right?
But if that option was open for me that weekend, I would have totally, like Connor said, like I love visiting, and obviously Peter, you're doing it too, visiting CSCs throughout the country. Anytime I'm remotely close to any CSC anywhere, like I'm gonna stop in and to try and meet the people, because inevitably I know somebody in all these spots from social media, or we've met them at any of the, like the Philly in Philly or in Pittsburgh, or in South Bend when we went to the Celtic game out there against Chelsea. Anytime I get that opportunity, I'm going to take it. So like the more CSCs that pop up throughout the country, it gives us more opportunity to meet new Celtic fans, which I love. So like I'm thrilled that you decided to put in the effort to start this up, which is awesome. And hopefully you have a lot of success like Connor has had, and I guess like some of those Pittsburgh and Detroit guys who are within their first 5 years of starting up, and they're like just doing amazing things. Like hopefully you can kind of emulate some of that success, which would be awesome.
Just got to make it through that first season. It's the hardest part.
I guess we'll get a larger crowd if they know Chris Stapleton's in the club and he comes to games, right?
That would work.
I'll help spread that rumor.
So I'm gonna stick up a couple pictures. So here's your this is the bar you guys are at, the Lost Patty, and we had talked about it a couple weeks ago with Chris when he went out for was that St. Mirren that we played then? 3 o'clock.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, 3 o'clock for us, so it would have been 2 o'clock for you guys. And then what else do I got? Here's some from your group.
So that's the Miami guys, and that's the couple that was on holiday that actually showed up for 2 games. That was the weekday game, and they showed up for the Sunday match.
Nice. And then I posted this picture before. This was Chris when he went to visit the club for that St. Mirren game. And I know Chris is excited about having a club. So
I mean, Peter. I'm not gonna lie to you, man. It makes my day to know that like I've got an active CSC, within an hour, because like I really haven't had that. My Celtic experience has always been like I was always a remote island off by myself, because it was an hour and a half, 2 hours to get to Atlanta. So doing one in Atlanta was always going to be tough for me, just because of traffic and trying to get there. And like I don't want to be 3 beers deep and have to drive back. So I mean, like I'm having Nashville, like I'm committed to having success in Nashville for getting this off the ground. So I'm super excited about it myself. So looking forward to it.
Yeah, and then let me throw out this comment from Edward. Welcome aboard the Celtic train. To Peter.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need Chris's train when you go
Yeah. Yeah, but then I'd have to mute myself and you wouldn't hear it.
And then Strange Love again. I'd love to visit Nashville. I only spent like a half a day in Nashville. I would like to go back now, especially that there's a Celtic supporters club there. But maybe not the downtown scene is my kind of thing, but I did enjoy the music everywhere, like live music at every multiple people playing live music at every spot you went to, starting at like 10 o'clock in the morning, is just so outside of the realm of what I'm used to. So I love that part of it, which is great. Yeah, so I guess let's jump into just some news in the Celtic world, I guess. I don't know, was it yesterday or was that today? The passing of Dixie Deans.
Yesterday.
Yesterday, yeah. So, I mean, that's a name. And again, that's like probably before all our time as a Celtic supporters, but it's a name that you always kind of saw. And even before he passed away, I looked him up because you try to be up on the history of Celtic. But I know, Connor, you were talking beforehand about the Bob Marley thing. Like, what was your thoughts when, all that stuff?
I went down a rabbit hole last night on YouTube, just watching highlights, like 6 goals in a match, the connection to Jock Steen. Like I was just consuming all of it, and then this random video pops up, and it's all about the connection of Dixie Deans to Bob Marley and how Dixie's the one apparently who got Bob into Celtic. And I just thought it was the coolest thing. And I had never heard that before. And I think, Chris, you had said you'd heard that before, but it was news to me, and I just thought it was like the coolest thing to hear. And I poured a little out for Dixie last night in his honor.
Yeah, the story that I had heard with Dixie Deans, because I like y'all, I look things up and kind of read up on the history of Celtic and read books and all that kind of stuff. But one of the things that kind of stood out to me was that Bob Marley connection, and it was always hearsay. So like I haven't seen the YouTube video or whatever, but the way that I understood it is that he visited Jamaica one off season or whatever, and then Bob Marley found out that he played football and professionally in Scotland, and that's kind of how they hooked up or something. But like that, I didn't know any other backstory other than that, and that there's a picture of Bob Marley wearing a Celtic strip in his backyard kicking a ball, and apparently that's from that weekend that Dixie was there, or that week that he was there or something. So, but yeah, I'm gonna have to look that up myself, because he was an absolute club legend, going back to Jock Steen, and just, I mean, you can talk for hours about all of the legends that have come to the Celtic Football Club, and I mean he's just another giant that you have to acknowledge, like what he gave to Celtic and what Celtic gave to him. So, rest in peace, Dixie.
Yeah. Let's throw this one out there, which is, I think,
what a cool picture.
Such a cool picture.
Yeah.
And again, that's just one of those just weird Celtic stories. And I know, who was it? Is it Jason that has the shirt? Jason from Columbus, and he wore it on the show the one time.
From the
Bob,
Juneau, Alaska.
Yeah, Bob
Marley CSC. Yeah,
in Juneau, Alaska. I don't know where he got that shirt.
I traded stickers with a guy a couple seasons ago. So awesome. I think at the time he printed up some shirts and was like, "Hey, just send me some money and I'll send you a shirt."
Yeah, I think I need that. Yeah, that's amazing. But yeah, I love those stories, and I love, like you said, Connor, just doing that deep dive into those kind of old head Celtic players who they're before your time, but and new ones pop up all the time, like where you'll see a name and unfortunately a lot of times it's like all upon their passing, and then you dig into them a little bit, and any of those stories, I love reading and seeing what's up with them.
That's the best way to honor legends, is to is to relive the past a little bit and find out new things that you didn't know. My dad told me about George Best, but he never mentioned Dixie Dean. So I went down a rabbit hole last night.
Yeah, I mean, it keeps their name alive. That's I know my wife always says that, like, like when you read about a guy, or who's passed away, it just keeps them alive in a way. Like
Absolutely.
Let me throw up a couple comments from. This is David. He's sometimes a contributor on the Gav's Celtic World Show for the guys from Malaysia. He's in Vietnam, I think.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah, we'd love to have David over to some of the North American CSCs. I'll buy you a pint if you come over. No, for sure.
Likewise.
Yeah.
Same.
And David, I think, is the one who he creates a lot of our videos, like the intro and stuff like that. So he's kind of helpful to everything that we're trying to do here. And then I'll throw up Strange Loves. This is and to throw Gil Heron, that isn't, I think Sean Kelly kind of named Detroit CSC after him. So
Yep.
Throwing his name onto that, and that's another one of those guys too, like who legendary name, and kind of forces you to dig into him a little bit to find out the story well before our time as Celtic supporters and my time on this earth. But I love all those old stories, and I'm always gonna dig into those. And then I guess let's do a quick preview for tomorrow. I guess first things first. Connor, are you guys able to show the game in Charleston?
So we are. The pub will show the match, but we are not meeting officially as a CSC tomorrow. It's really tough with the amount. Many of our members are employed as coaches in local universities and local high schools and local clubs, and it's just really tough for some of us who work 9 to 5s to get everybody together. We have a couple guys who were in the armed forces. It's tough. So the weekday matches, we try to do like one a month if we can. Usually we'll reserve those for big matches. I'm not saying Roma's not, especially at home. I'm very excited at the prospect of the new gaffer getting points at home, but it wasn't in the cards for us, and we're gonna meet next on Sunday morning for the League Cup final.
Yeah. No, and that's kind of why I threw in that reference to in the intro to the Cone of Silence CSC, because we've done that. And I don't know if Peter, you've heard that term yet? That's like I don't know if Chris, did you coin that phrase?
Maybe.
You can take credit for it. I'll give it up.
Sure. Let me take credit for it. But so the Cone of Silence is basically that you shut down all media input, and it's easy to do in North America, especially during the working day at a 2:45, 3:45 kickoff, something like that. And you can basically just you can shut everything down, and I'm not going to know the score. You put all these things in place so that you can go home and you can turn on the match and watch it and crack a beer, and just like it's on your schedule and not the other way around. So that's the Cone of Silence, but I'll take credit for it.
I'll give you credit for it.
Yeah,
I don't do it as I don't much as you do it more than I do.
Well, but see, like the thing is that it's easier to do when I know I'll be able to watch it. And this season, for all Europa League matches, I didn't get the matches until like we upgraded TV's service to Paramount Plus, and now finally I get the Europa League matches. But Celtic TV doesn't have it, and this season, the first 2 Europa League matches I had to go audio only because they didn't release it until midnight my time, Central Time. Right, and before it was Celtic Park time at midnight, and then you could show it. So then I could catch the Celtic TV replay at like, I don't know, 8 o'clock at night, 9 o'clock at night, something like that. And it wasn't that bad. And, I could do the Cone of Silence, watch it that night, turn it off and go to bed. But, it makes it difficult like just middle of the week matches are just difficult when you're trying to work. So
Yeah, it's always tough. I'm lucky that I work from home, and even when I was in the office, I would sit at my desk and normally watch it. But you're right, it is nice, like you said, like to be able to sit down and crack a beer while you're watching the game
and enjoy
it rather than I mean, I remember last year when the Bayern Munich game when they won at the last second or drew at the last second when what's his name, Davey scored the goal to knock us out of the Champions League. I was in the office and like almost fucking screamed and fell out of my chair and cried and all those things. And it was like probably not the scene for it. And I kind of wish I would have had that opportunity to let out the full range of emotions that I had at that moment, because it was not good to bottle it up. So yeah, the cone of silence. I think I've done it one time this season, and it was for a weekend game, just because I had something in the morning when Celtic was playing. I don't remember which game it was, but Peter, are you guys going to have the game in Nashville, or is it just too tough midweek?
So generally during the week's easy, right? They'll play it at the pub. I posted, just pretty much let everybody know that it's going to be shown, but we might have 2 people there.
Mm-hmm.
And then right now our game watch is based on 3 other clubs, the Hammers, Everton, and Man U. So if they have a game on these 6 a.m. games or a 9 a.m. game, right? If one of those 3 have a match game that's either same time or before, generally the pub's opening up.
Okay.
It's been working out. We split the room in half. But the key is, right, if we can get it on a screen, somebody rolls into town, they got a place to come watch it.
Yeah.
Even if it's one person.
Yeah, that's great. And that's how you build a club.
Mm-hmm.
You like you're available for like every match almost, like Connor said, he's like, you might not expect people to be there, but you guys will have it on.
There were plenty of us those first 2 years, plenty of matches where it was 2 of us.
Yeah.
Plenty of them.
And that's
why you try to grow. Yeah.
Yep. And I've been to Philly games like that where it was like that. And it's, I mean, just having that one person to watch with always works for me. I mean, that's worked for me in the past. So that's how you keep a club going. And I won't name names. Like there's clubs that just don't have that availability. Like, and they, try to kind of put themselves off as a full-on Celtic supporters club, and it's not. I just feel like you just have to at least have the option to watch it. So, and maybe that's just me, but so in terms of the match tomorrow, I guess. How do you see? You kind of saw in Wilfred Nancy's media conference, kind of alluding to the possibility of making changes again. I don't know if he'll do that, but I guess, Connor, how do you think he'll kind of roll out with that same formation, same kind of lineup tomorrow, or make a few changes?
So to my earlier point about me respecting him being thrown into the deep end of the pool and seemingly embracing it by being like, you know what, I'm going to do my own thing. I'm not just going to be a deer in the headlights. I'm going to do what I think is right here. I could see him completely changing everything he thought. We went into last match with 2 days of prep. Mm-hmm. I don't know how much film he watched before he got here, but 2 days of prep with live prep. And now he's had a couple more days. Maybe he's going to flip the script again. I don't know. I'd be shocked if he did. Maybe he makes a change here or there, but I think experimentation is probably everything I know about him. Seems like he's not going to shy away from experimentation and seeing what works, and maybe putting guys in uncomfortable positions to see if they thrive or if or if they die. And I think he could do the same again tomorrow. I actually hope he does that, because I want him to get this figured out before Sunday. I don't want him to be experimenting on Sunday. Sunday should be Sunday should be confident. It should be going in knowing that we are the better squad and we have the right to win. And I don't know. Roma's on a little bit of a downturn. I think they've lost 2 in a row in Serie A, and they aren't coming in confident tomorrow, and we're at home. So, if you're going to mess around and keep playing with the lineup, I think tomorrow's the day to do it as opposed to Sunday.
Yeah, agreed. Or maybe the option is to kind of feed that same lineup out there and get control of that formation so you're good on Sunday. But
yeah,
like you're right. I think he's going to go into it trying to get a result. I know we've talked in weeks past about Europa League. For me, it wasn't as big of concern. Like, I was all about the league, and then especially now this League Cup, I think, is more important than having lost that Hearts game. Kind of, not that it. I mean, the cups are always going to be important. Cup finals. You'll never take away the importance of that, but. Yeah, so I mean, Chris, how do you see? Do you think like Connor?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if he's going to make wholesale changes. I wouldn't expect him to make wholesale changes, but I had my wool pulled over my eyes last week, so I don't really know what to expect, but I would hope that some a few more days to iron out whatever changes in formations and kind of what players are expected to do, and kind of what Wilfred Nancy's trying to get out of the squad, and kind of we have the ability to maybe go to some of our strengths that the players know, and kind of have a little bit more trust in that. I'm hopeful that Roma is an opportunity for us to go and play however he wants us to play, and play within the system, and go with that. But I can definitely see a scenario where he's more prepping for Sunday, instead of really going for a win against Roma.
Yeah.
I can see both things, but to be honest with you, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't think anybody knows what's going to happen.
No, I mean, I think he shocked us all on Sunday. So
yeah.
And now, I mean, I guess he's had a few more days to kind of see the players and see what they can do in training, and maybe that kind of changes his viewpoint on players. Maybe before he was kind of relying on the guys he saw on the pitch before, that Martin O'Neill was throwing out there. So that's what he had to go off of, to have those extra few days of training. Maybe I don't know what changes you would make. Like you said, Connor, and I agree with you, Tenecti versus Hearts was kind of invisible. And then I don't think he puts in kind of the defensive work either. So that's like, maybe he starts on the bench, and like you see Balikwisha, which who knows, like somebody might impress him. So I guess Peter, how do you can you see any guys who have been on the bench recently maybe getting some time in the starting lineup or serious minutes at the end?
Yeah, possibly. I say the formation is going to be the exact same. I see him sticking with that.
Yeah, I think you're right there.
We know Forrest is supposedly coming out, so be curious to see if he's starting.
That's another name, yeah. But then Iheanacho, I think, is available. Maybe not for 90 minutes or even 60 minutes, but maybe to come on as a substitute for the last 30 minutes. So that brings a little bit of a different different guy at striker. Like Kenny came on at the end on Sunday, and I can't really remember him doing much of anything, to be honest. So yeah, I don't know. I guess in terms of, we can move on to predictions. I know Chris is going to say 2-0 Celtic, so I'm going to skip over him.
Hell yeah, I am. 2-0 Celtic.
Peter, predictions for tomorrow, score-wise.
I tell you, I say 3-1. If it's not raining, I don't know if you noticed right Sunday, but you see how slow the ball was running or rolling?
Yeah.
So that could have a huge impact. But yeah, I see 3-1. I see us coming back.
Okay. Connor, give me a prediction.
So
we're keeping track of this too. So.
I see rain in the forecast, cold and rain, right, for tomorrow. I think it's 85% chance of rain, 53 is the high, Fahrenheit, obviously. I think it's going to be one of those tough matches. I think we'll come out fast again, and I'd like to see us get an early goal and then hold on to that. I'm going to say 1-1 draw. That's what I'm going to say. This is the pessimist. I'm a glass half empty kind of guy. But it's okay. I think a little confidence is all I need, again, going into Sunday. I'm a little confidence is all I need.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, probably a draw gets you, that confidence going into Sunday, getting a result against an Italian side who's got a big name. And then 2, it still probably keeps you in a little bit of contention for the knockout stage.
Yeah.
In Europa. Yeah. So, I mean, I tend to agree, but I'm going to go with 2-1 Celtic just because I hate picking up.
You can.
Outside of. I know Chris does. I don't think Chris is at anything other than a 2-0 Celtic.
Well, no, I mean, that's probably more of my Celtic optimism. Probably.
No, it's fine. I love it. I appreciate it.
I want to believe that we can do it no matter what. So that's just always what I'm going to say. But I'm not totally unrealistic.
No, I know. But at the same time, I mean, I used to do that on, like, when we play Barcelona in the Champions League.
Oh yeah,
or PSG or something like.
Yeah, I mean, that's
you can see 1-0 to Celtic. Like,
yeah, that's
has no reasoning whatsoever.
that's when I developed the habit.
Yeah.
Of just being like, guys, 2-0 Celtic, and and then you can talk about other things.
Yes, I agree. So I'm going to throw up a comment by Strangelove, and that's going to kind of lead us into our last thing that I want to talk about. There isn't a club in world football as cool as Celtic. All the other ones kind of feel a bit try hard, but it's true. Amen. And that kind of leads us into that last thing I want to talk about. Like like I said before, like kind of building off of what Peter said, that Celtic is a family, and Connor said about visiting other clubs and meeting the people, and like it's almost a brotherhood, like of like all people of the same ethos, and like I love that. And I've met Chris and Connor, and hopefully you get to meet Peter, because I hear you might be coming to the Philly in Philly.
I'm in Philly.
I heard from Chris. But that Philly in Philly is going from February 5th through the 8th, and they just announced this week that they're going to have Peter Grant and Tosh McKinley. And that's another one of those things, like Connor said, makes you do a little bit. They're kind of a little before my time as a supporting the club. Like I kind of got in the early 2000, like 2004, 2005. And Peter Grant from Celtic TV, but like to kind of see what they were as a player. And like those things, like we've had in the past in Philly, we had John Fallon from the backup keeper from the Lisbon Lions, and we've had, we had one guy, I can't remember.
John Paul.
Yeah, John Paul. He comes as the Celtic fan liaison, and he's coming again this year. So getting to it kind of it gives you a little bit of more of an attachment to the club. You get to hear those guys' stories, and I love that. And like, you got that feel definitely. Connor, you did the Celtic game in North Carolina this year, right?
Mm-hmm. Chapel Hill last summer.
Yeah.
It's great.
So like all those events just suck you in even more. And like me and Chris were in South Bend, and we did the Celtic Foundation dinner, and they had Casper was there, and Dyson, and Greg Taylor, and Stilian Petrov. So getting to listen to those guys tell their stories about Celtic, like it's amazing, and I love that. And then beyond that, getting to see the supporters coming from everywhere. So I don't know, Connor, are you coming up for that?
I'm gonna try. Yeah, but with a lot going on next year, we've got Philly, Detroit. Again, I'm not trying to jump ahead. We've got New Orleans, which is obviously close to us, and we've got some former club members who now live in New Orleans. So I'm definitely gonna try to make that one. But yeah, I'm gonna have to pick and choose. Otherwise, the wife might murder me. Yeah.
So I'm doing Philly's easy for me. I'm doing Philly, but I'm doing Detroit too. So I will be in Detroit. New Orleans, I don't know if I can pull off. So and Chris, I mean, like I said, me and you met at the 2014, I think it was. You said going back to then.
That was the first Phelan in Philly.
Yeah. So
no,
and you basically get to spend an entire weekend with each other.
Yeah,
sitting in a bar, listening to music, drinking pints, watching Celtic.
No, it's a camaraderie that you'll never believe will exist until you experience it. Every time I've been to Philadelphia, I mean, it's Thursday through Sunday, and it goes by just lickety split, and it's over with. But it's such fun. It's such a good time. The music's great. The food's good. The beer's good. You just gotta get to Philly.
Yeah, and I'm excited to meet Peter out there. Peter, I will buy you a pint.
Yep, I'll be in Philly. Going to New Orleans, maybe Detroit. We got a little time on that still, but so with the World Cup announcement, a lot of people that were going to New Orleans are now going to Boston.
Yep. We've a couple of our members are talking about going. I don't know if they're going to get tickets at those prices, but they're talking about going.
Right. And then from what Philly's saying, right, there may be potential chance of a cup game that weekend on Saturday. So if that follows through, oh, wow, man, that would just be, oh, my gosh, just bring your lawn chair to sit out in the street, right?
You can do that on 2nd Street in Old City. I think they encourage it.
Yeah, so I'll just throw up this picture from the plow. This was from the other day, from Sunday. This was post-match. And still everybody had a smile on their face, even though we, lost to Hearts.
Nice to see Mark there right in the middle.
Yeah, Mark's the man. And Seamus. And it's a good group down there. And it'll be an amazing crowd that whole weekend, as hundreds of people in over the entire weekend. So always one of the best weekends of the year for me. And we didn't get to do it in Philly last year. We did it in Pittsburgh. I got to hang out with Connor out there in Pittsburgh last year, which was fun. And me, Connor, and Dr. J were tearing it up. And
came home with COVID and the worst hangover in the world. Oh boy. Yeah, I had to take a few days off from work after that weekend.
So yeah, those are those special events, and
Dr. J is good at that.
Yeah. It was a great time, though. Great time.
Yeah, we had a blast. We played St. Mirren that weekend too. I think we won 5-2 away or something. But
you got a great memory.
From what I remember.
I barely remember any of that weekend.
I actually remember that one, which was good. I wasn't too bad, but even though I was walking around with for hours with a Guinness and an IPA in each hand, as people just kept buying me. I'm like, all right. made the beers even better like that. I always say the contrast between a Guinness and a hazy IPA makes the hazy IPA that much better, but that's my beer nerdiness. So
it all balances in the stomach.
Yep. Yeah, then it gets ugly. But we I'm just gonna throw this out as a little teaser. I don't know if it's gonna happen, but there's a possibility that we might be able to do a little live podcast that weekend from the plow.
Oh, that's cool.
So we're still working out the kinks there to see if that's possible.
You use that upstairs space?
I have no idea. Seamus kind of mentioned it, and I'm kind of trying to work out the technical aspects of it, so to see if we can pull it off. But I think it'll be fun, and we could try and get on some of our guests and who have been on with us, and some of those add some new people into the fold. So
you get some of those headsets like they do at New Year's Eve, right? The boom mic, and you stand in the crowd. You're just having that one-on-one interview, and everybody's around you. And just
yeah. I just don't know if
free interviews.
I don't know if I can sell it to my wife to like buy a few $100 worth of equipment to do this.
There's a sponsor out there somewhere.
Yeah,
Look, sponsor Celtic World.
Yeah, we'll see if we can do that. But I think it'll be fun, and just that whole weekend is fun. So I'm always looking forward to that.
Get to Philly.
Let me just check out the last few comments we got.
Not in Boston. Not in Boston.
Outside the
we say Boston, but it's closer to Providence, Rhode Island, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Hey, so if you haven't looked, out of curiosity, and everybody out there in Celtic World, go look at hotel prices.
I know. That's Well, I had a guy from the Highlands in Scotland message me saying him and like 10 of his buddies wanted to go to the Brazil match in Miami.
Cool.
How close are you to Miami? I'm like, I'm not very close. But he was still like, yeah, I might. I'm like, if you want, I mean, yeah, I can take a few people. I don't know if that's going to help you at all. Like,
houseboat, rent a houseboat. You're not getting a hotel room.
No, yeah. So I think
it's amazing how prices went up in 24 hours.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, right.
And the ticket prices are going to be
to
get into the stadium are going to be insane too. But yeah, so I think we covered everything that we wanted to cover tonight. So I think we'll wrap it up there. And let me get back to our outro. But if you guys want to stick around, I didn't mention it beforehand. Me and Chris do a little recap after the show backstage. So stick around. But next week we have a couple guys from the Plough and the Stars on, a couple guys from Scotland, and they should be very interesting. David and Declan. So I'm looking forward to that one. Chris, you're gonna love these guys.
Well,
and they have
Declan from Northern.
Oh yeah. You met him in South End. But they have divergent opinions on certain Celtic players, and they're just fucking hilarious to watch at the bar argue about it. So it'll be good to have them on here arguing about it, and I'm looking forward to that. But other than that, thank you guys for listening tonight, and thanks Connor for coming on, and thanks Peter. Good to have you on for the first time, and we wish you great luck in getting things rolling in Nashville. And like Chris said, I think Chris is going to be a big help to you, but if there's anything I can do, I would love to help you out as well. So
you're here. Same.
Yeah. And Connors has great experience in getting a club like up off the ground and, rolling and doing great things. So, and I hope to see both of you guys at the Philly, in Philly. It's, like I said, it's a fucking amazing time, and it's just a place to build on that brotherhood of Celtic, and I love it. So, but we'll wrap it up there. Hail, boys, and we will see you guys next week.
Thanks so much for having me. Appreciate it.
Yeah, cheers, boys.
Cheers.